In today's video, I'm going to be talking about LeBron James and how, especially recently, he's been one of the most, if not the most, overhated player in the NBA and probably the most overhated player of all times. And there's many reasons why people hate on him, but it has to stop because he's obviously one of the greatest players of all time and people are really taking his greatness for granted. If you guys watch my channel, you know I'm a big fan of LeBron. He's one of my favorite players right now, probably my favorite player of all time, and it's for pretty good reason. I mean, he is the best player by far of our generation, and I started watching the NBA around 2014, and ever since then, LeBron has consistently been the best player in the league all the way up until then. And I actually made a really controversial video a while ago on the channel about why I think LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, and why I actually think he's better than Michael Jordan. And this video became my most disliked video, and it got quite a little bit of hate. It did do pretty well overall with views and whatnot, but it's obvious why it got a little bit of hate, because people obviously disagree and are very passionate about that. But let's put that debate for a second today, because whether you think LeBron James is the greatest player of all time or not, or even if you have him out of your top 5, which personally I find ridiculous, but even if you do, if you have watched LeBron's generation of the league, you have to appreciate his greatness, and if you don't, you're gonna regret it at the end of his career. And that's what I'm gonna be talking about today, is how he's way overhated and people are taking his greatness for granted. So let's get into the video. Before we do, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any new videos, and make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at danieldelari.yt. I'm posting tons of extra content in my story over there that you don't want to miss out on, especially in the playoffs. With that being said, let's get into it. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick reminder of what LeBron James has accomplished throughout his career, in case you somehow forgot. For his career, he's averaging 27 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists, shooting 50% from the field, 35% from 3, along with a 59% true shooting, one of the most dominant scorers at the rim that we've ever seen as a small forward. He's made all-NBA teams 16 times throughout his career, which is an all-time record, along with an all-time record of 13 all-NBA first teams. He's made the all-defensive first team 5 times, along with a total of 6 all-defensive teams. He's made the all-star team 17 times throughout his career. He's won 4 MVPs, 4 championships, along with 4 finals MVPs, and made the finals 10 times throughout his career. One of the greatest playmakers we've ever seen, at times one of the best defenders out there. According to most people, he easily could have won a defensive player of the year in either 2012 or 2013, and he's most likely going to end his career as the all-time leading scorer, and will probably end up with the best longevity that we've ever seen from a player that has ever played in the NBA. He's still arguably the best player in the NBA right now at 36 years old. So just to remind you guys that LeBron James is easily a top 2 player of all time and does have a case to be the greatest player of all time. So as I'm going on throughout the video, just remember this resume that LeBron has right now. So as I mentioned, despite all this amazing stuff LeBron has done throughout his career and given himself a GOAT case, he's one of the most hated, if not the most hated players in the NBA. I mean, all of us from the NBA community know this. LeBron gets tons of hate night in and night out. Now, there are a few reasons why he's a very hated player, and at times, I even feel sometimes the same way when I see him doing things like flopping out there on the court, and just overall some other things. He has many reasons to be hated. Like I said, he flops a lot on the court. He's very dramatic sometimes. He argues a lot with the ref, and a lot of people hate him too because they're so mad with the fact that some people like myself think that he is the greatest player of all time over Michael Jordan. He also seems to have this ability to really attract other stars over to his team. We've seen him play with guys like Anthony Davis, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and Kyrie Irving throughout his career, and people really seems to get on their nerves as well, because he really gets involved with the team and sometimes plays a general manager's role as well. We always like to call LeBron Le GM sometimes. So he's hated for some of these different reasons. Most of these are really, really small reasons. The biggest one of all is just how good he is. And for some reason, I don't know if just people out there just don't like basketball or something, but people always get hate on because of how good they are sometimes. And especially with LeBron, this is the main reason that he's hated, along with these other reasons like his flopping, his arguing, how people think he's a little bit overrated, and all of these things all factor into why people don't like LeBron James. But let me ask you one thing. Should all of these little tiny things that people hate about him overrule the fact that he's a top 3, at least top 3 player of all time, and he's a generational player? Listen, this is my main point of the video. I don't care how much you hate a guy. If he's a generational player like LeBron James, someone who you only get once in a generation to watch a player like this, you have to enjoy it. No matter how much you hate him, people are going to regret when all this hate when LeBron retires. They're going to regret how they constantly hated on him, and when they watched him play basketball, they didn't focus on just how good of a basketball player he was. They focused on the little things like his flopping and arguing, and little things like how he attracts other stars towards his team. I mean, no one hated on MJ and Kobe, and I know I've already said it multiple times, LeBron does have qualities that make you want to dislike him, but people appreciated Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant for what they were. They enjoyed their time on the court, and they'll forever be remembered because of just how amazing they were and how they were generational players. LeBron has to be remembered this way as well. I don't care if you don't like how he flops on the court sometimes. He's a generational player, and we've got to understand that and appreciate his talent right now. We only have a few more years left of LeBron James, and some people have hated on him throughout his entire career and have basically wasted enjoying all of those years, and this is just so unfortunate because, like I mentioned, he's a once-in-a-generation type of player. My main point here is we should be appreciating LeBron James for what he is. He's a top 3 player of all time. In my opinion, he's the greatest player of all time. And just things like his court vision and his IQ and his playmaking ability on the court and how dominant he is at the rim and how entertaining and clutch he can be down the stretch in games. We just got to appreciate this. If you're a fan of the NBA, you should be a fan of LeBron James. So just to put it into perspective, how many people hate on LeBron James and how many people take his greatness for granted? About a week ago when the Lakers played the Warriors in that epic play-in game that was 100-100, came down to the last minute, then LeBron got poked in the eye by Draymond, had to take some time on the bench, then came back and hit that amazing 3 at the end of the shot clock, and then at the end of the game said that he was seeing 3 rims. We all know that the shot ended up being the game winner, and SportsCenter ended up posting about it on their Instagram. They posted the video, they posted his quote from the interview, and they posted the interview clip. Now these are the top 22 comments on this post. That's right, 22 in a row. Cap emoji. Cap. Who gonna tell LeBron they're done filming for Space Jam 2? Actor of the year. I swear every year Draymond bumps into LeBron and he goes down like he just tore every muscle in his legs. Look cap. LMAFO, come on son, you ain't gonna cap that hard. Good cap LeBron, we all know it was luck. Lies. Yeah, okay, I'm sure he saw a unicorn in Michael Jordan's ghost, too. Cap emoji, he was just making sure he had an excuse in case he didn't win. Such a lie, bruh. Drama queen. LaBaby. Straight cap. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji. 3 cap emojis, dead guy emojis. 3 cap emojis. Cap. LeBron is the best actor in the NBA, laughing, laughing. No wonder he was the star in Space Jam, laughing, laughing. Oscar. LeBron is the biggest baby ever. He barely got poked in the eye and acted like he had a full-blown concussion. 22 hate comments before the next comment was the first positive one that said LeGoat. Listen, some of these comments are actually great. Some of them are pretty funny, but the fact that like 90% of the comments, or so many too that I didn't even read, are hate comments towards LeBron, and people that commented on this post are deciding to focus on the fact that he was slightly over dramatic instead of the fact that he hit this amazing shot to beat the Golden State Warriors is just straight ridiculous. I can't believe so many people think negatively like this about LeBron and can't just accept the fact that he's at least a top 3 player of all time and can't appreciate that. All of the people that commented all this hate on this post and all of the stuff about how LeBron's acting and crying and flopping around, they are going to regret this one day. I know LeBron flops sometimes, but these people are probably all people that don't even take LeBron James's greatness for what it truly is, and they're going to regret this one day, and once he retires, they're going to realize that the NBA just isn't the same without LeBron, and all of these people are going to regret taking his greatness for granted. Before I end off this video, let me give one more quick lesson to you guys. You do not have to like a player to be able to appreciate their greatness. Let me give an example of myself. I do not like Kevin Durant. Some people might even call me a KD hater. I don't like how he went to Golden State to team up with the greatest team of all time, and I don't like how, especially right now in the NBA, I definitely think think he's a little bit overrated. People are valuing his scoring a little bit too much. I don't think he really does anything other than scoring at an elite level. I find him a little bit overrated. But with that being said, I still appreciate his greatness for what it is. I know that he's one of the greatest scorers of all time, and because of this, when I watch Kevin Durant play, I do not take it for granted. I soak it in and I appreciate it because I know that I'm not going to see a score like this for a long time. He's one of the greatest scorers of all time, and again, just like LeBron, the NBA is not going to be the same without Kevin Durant. And no matter how much I hate him, I need to appreciate his greatness. This year, especially when he was playing in games, I always tried to watch those games because I know he's a special player, and no matter how much I hate him, I like watching him play, and I don't take his greatness for granted. To cap off this video, let me restate my main message one more time. LeBron James is a once-in-a-generation player. No matter how much you hate him, do not take his greatness for granted. He's gonna leave the NBA one day, and it won't be the same. I don't care how overrated you think LeBron is, or how much you hate his flopping, appreciate his greatness. He's a once-in-a-generation player, and you only get a few more years of him. Enjoy it, and stop hating. So there you have it. That is the end of today's video. Comment down below what you thought of the video today, what you think of LeBron James, and how he's perceived by yourself and also other fans and the entire NBA community. Make sure, as I mentioned at the start of the video, subscribe if you're new so you don't miss out on any of my new NBA videos, and I'll see you all next video.